Gonna get into it today. We're gonna look at the Sir Hammerlock DLC. Um, Clearly, I have to figure out where that is. First things first, I have to relearn all the buttons. We are doing keyboard and mouse today. The last couple of times we'd been on controller, so I'm just trying to make sure here that we know everything. That should still be the jump. Okay, let's see here. Where's my headset? Turn this down a little bit. I don't want to blow myself out here. Um, I think missions-wise, all the ones we have are the ones that we're not really capable of doing, and this one is just a repeat. We've technically already done this one and beat that DLC. We tried to defeat Hyperius last time, and we went in for a good half hour, maybe even longer than that. Got him down about halfway, and stumbled and lost. Um, what do we got here for guns? We got that, we got that. I know we ended up grabbing some really spicy guns. From the DLC stuff we had sort of done here. I don't really remember exactly. I know we had just finished the what is it? One of the DLCs, the Torg one, and we were on our way to do more stuff and things.
Later, Vault Hunter.
What is up, my man? How are you doing today? I don't think we unlocked anything new here. I don't really remember. It's been so long since we've touched anything. Okay, so I don't think we unlocked anything new here. I know there's a new DLC for this. Currently, I have no plans to touch it. At least yet. I want to look into it a little more. What looks good here? I guess the black on black looks pretty slick. He looks spooky that way. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're drinking some tea right now. As per the usual, it's Wednesday. We got our whiskey here. I know it's, like I said, it's been a while since we streamed. We've been busy. I don't know. This morning something just told me, hey, you should probably get some of your sort of your regular work done. So we figured, it's a good time to stream again. Again, I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow or not yet. We'll see what's going on. I know right now there might be a lot of noise coming from the outside here in a little bit. They're repaving our driveways around here, and it might lead to a lot of noise. If it does, I will cut the stream short, just so we don't have to listen to them doing their job. Speaking that our apartment is pretty damn close to the roadway. That sort of is what it is. But it feels good to be back. I was a little leery to come back after kind of not... We'll blow a key here. After not streaming for so long, you just kind of get into the habit of like, well, I'm not streaming. But it feels good to be back. I am looking a little gaunt. We're looking a little pasty. We have been doing a lot of work indoors, so we don't necessarily look our prettiest currently. And that's okay. We don't feel too bad about that. But like I said, for our absence down below there, we have been out of town. I don't really have a silent place to stream, so we just haven't been streaming. Okay, now where the hell am I going? Oh, so now they're clearly marked? What doo-doo heads. I wish they would have had this marked when we started doing ours, because we ended up doing all those stupid grindy things for nothing. I guess it's not necessarily nothing, but... okay, so Borderlands 2, Dragon's Keep, those are DLC. The Ultimate, I think this is once you get far enough in the game? I think. Headhunters. Okay, I think these are the weird little grindy pack things that we sort of messed up on last time. But we're going to start here. We're going to jump into this. I'm going to go silent for just a moment. Let the game, if it has a cutscene, do its cutscene thing. And then we'll go right back to blabbing our head off and being boring.
Danger, excitement, mustaches. It's time for another episode of Vault Hunter Adventures featuring Sir Hammerlock. In this week's tale, our hard-boiled heroes travel to the savage continent of Agris. Their goal? To uncover the most exotic creatures Pandora has to offer and give them the old 1-2. But danger looms on the horizon for our swell swashbucklers. For while Handsome Jack may be gone, his legacy lives on.
Okay, so we're going to have to fight a lot of Handsome Jack duplicates or whatever. So just a little update for our normal stuff and things here. As I said a little while ago,
You've made it, old chum.
let him talk
I've
first.
set up a base camp of sorts near your location. Come find me, would you?
Those are some sweet looking loot boxes or little boxes. For our normal streaming stuff, we really haven't looked at anything magic related at all in terms of things like standard for arena. So I don't think we're gonna have anything arena related. Excuse me. Am I seriously stuck in this damn box? Okay. Anything arena related for a little while on the channel, we have to sort of re-get our Oh hey, super awesome. Thank you for the lurk. Much appreciated. Hope your day at work is going well. Oh, we're running away from our thing. We should pay attention here. We haven't followed any, back to what we were kind of talking about here, any magic news. I haven't followed any Hearthstone news. Right now I'm very out of the loop. Normally what happens is when I go to help my uncle do whatever it is he asks of me, we sort of just go off the grid for a while, so I really haven't been touching the internet and all that fun stuff too much, so we are a little behind on things like that. You know, hopefully here we'll be able to get back into the swing of things and... Oh, well, that's not on. Okay. You know, sort of continue where we left off. You know, this stream today is us starting the DLC for Sir Hammerlock. From all the things I read on it this morning, this was like the least exciting out of all of them, which kind of bummed me out a little bit. Hopefully here it's not as bad as people made it sound. It just sounded like a lot of people were sort of down on it because it doesn't necessarily have the, I guess, regular Borderlands charms that people have come to expect. You know, what does that mean for us? Well, I'm still going to play the hell out of it and hopefully enjoy it. But we really haven't been playing any games. I have been putting some time into Fallout 76. For people who don't know, it's currently free to play till the 17th, so I think that's Sunday. I'm probably wrong. Well, it looks like something's shooting at it, so we clearly have a little buddy helping us. Maybe? Okay, and that's our grenade. Yeah, see, it's been so long since I've played this game, specifically with keyboard and mouse as well, that I feel so very lost right now. Ooh. Hey, get off me, dog. There we go. Yeah, well, being blue doesn't really mean much for us. We blew some of our keys. We got some what looked like overpowered loot compared to what we normally have. So I'm just going to assume that most of the guns we will find are going to probably be bad. Hey, the witch doctors. Wait, what the hell? Wonder what the witch doctors do. Okay, so that looks like an SMG. I think this is an SMG as well, so we have two SMGs on. We're probably going to switch that here in a moment. I think these were loot chests? Yes. Very nice. So again, though, like I said, we're a little off the grid. So we're a little off touch from what we'd normally do and stuff like that. As for what we're going to talk about today, I want to talk about E3. This was actually the first year that I have sat through and watched an entire E3. Sort of never really cared too much about it. I figured this would be a good year, speaking that we're streaming, to kind of look into it too, just see what the big hubbub was. And there were some things I was very interested in. You know, we're going to talk about some sort of some lame Epic Store news for people in the Discord. You know, or my Discord specifically. You will have sort of seen a a little bit of us talking about it already. Our Discord kind of talks about a little bit everything, and I do like that. I think that it helps keep the Discord for us interesting. So if you like talking things like Magic, Borderlands, Hearthstone, just all things sort of whatever, you know, feel free to jump in there, get in on that. I highly recommend, though I'm supposed to say that anyway. Okay, so that's not going to do much. I don't know if we have any really good weapons for those floaty things right now. I think the shotgun's bad. Yeah, I think all of our weapons are just kind of meh right now. Okay, so I guess we're not going to be switching off anything for the time being. Hopefully here, though, that our weapons are, you know, at least doable. I know this isn't going to do much if it hits them. Yeah, we kind of figured that. I am kind of shockingly surprised that we finally hit some DLC content where, at least for the right now, everything is greatly leveled to us. So we're going to have some struggling and stuff like that, which I'm technically not opposed to. You may see me get down a little more than I want to, you know, but hey, struggling is part of the growth, so it's all good. So as I was saying, though, this is the first year that we sat through an E3, and I have to say, for about 90% of it, I was actually quite bummed out. I was expecting, I guess, more new hotness. I know a lot of people love E3 every year. It's something that they kind of look forward to. One of the pages I follow on Facebook, 8-9 Productions, if you haven't followed them yet, follow. They try to keep up with the most relevant of at least video gaming console news. They don't do a lot of PC stuff, which kind of makes me a little sad, speaking that once I went and got this laptop, PC sort of became life. Console kind of became a thing of the past. But they had said, you know, like, hey, E3 is their Christmas for them. This is something that they look forward to every year. This is something that they definitely,
Come find me and we'll fight our way to the lodge together. Then it'll be nothing but a
you know,
carefree
set
week
time
of
off to the side to do.
companionship and bawdy jokes about social taboos.
But I have to say, I was bored for about 90% of it. If it wasn't for Nintendo coming through in the clutch, I would have kind of considered E3 a total waste of my time. But I do have to say, Nintendo absolutely knocked it out of the park. I love the fact that there's a Panzer Dragoon game coming back for anyone who didn't play that way back on the Sega Saturn. It's kind of an on-rail shooter-esque style game. I absolutely love that game. Played it a lot as a kid. I still have my copy of it for my Sega Saturn. Very excited about that. Seeing a new Contra game made me very excited again. Another game from my childhood that made me happy. It's been a while since we've seen a new Contra game. It looked really cute, and seeing that there is a Panda Bear character, right up my alley. Speaking of that, I love pandas anyway. Let's see what our homie Hammerlock here has to say.
What ho, Vault Hunter! Welcome to Agris. The lodge is just up the path here. Stick close and we should arrive with no trouble.
You know, I'm still, personally, I'm hung up on the names for the newest Pokemon games. I just do not like them. I think Shield and Sword is a very blah name. For me, I know necessarily the name of the game isn't the game itself, but I find it very lackluster. I'm not a fan at all whatsoever of the name. I wish that was something that would not have been, but whatever.
Greetings. Do you feel you have too many bullets but not enough money?
It's so weird to see things leveled to us now. This is great. Oh no. Oh, really? Well, we make the long trek back. That sucks. We'll actually put... Okay, so we'll turn off our electric gun for the shotgun. That seems like a good move. So the E3 stuff we were talking about, I keep getting a little sidetracked here. I have so many things going through my head. You know, I was super excited to come back. I was actually going to make like a little cheat sheet of things I wanted to talk about just to try to keep myself upright and going in the correct direction. Clearly that's not happening at all. Like I said, Pokemon games, The names sound bad. My buddy and I get the opposite color of each game every year, so I know for a fact no matter what I am getting the newest Pokemon game, even if I'm not super excited for him this year, which is weird because this is actually the first year that I am not excited for a Pokemon game. I know for Sun and Moon, you know, I was super pumped. This one, not so much. You know, I wouldn't say it's anything anything against you know, Nintendo or whatever. I don't feel like it's my tastes are changing or something like that either. That's just a bold-faced lie. I just feel like, again, I am hung up on how bad the names are. I just cannot bring myself to look past the damn name. Sun and Moon, or not Sun and Moon, excuse me. Shield and Sword is just so mind-numbingly awful to me. It's so unpleasing to the ears. I'm sure I'll have to get over it at some point. Well, it sounds like there's someone near us, but I ain't seen. There he is. Wow, that gun either has the world's... Oh, okay, it holds 12 shots, that's why. Again, you know, little sidetrack here. Again, so I'm good at that. Wait. Okay, well, the machines don't work either. What do we gotta do here? Did they fall down or something? Oh. Huh. How do I get up there? Huh. Well, that took care of that.
You in my swamp, little moths. I know why you're here. You want what's in my ship. You want my power.
Pardon. We came here to hunt. Afraid we've never heard of you before.
What? Really? Professor Nakayama? Hyperion Scourge? I poisoned Atlas's CEO.
Oh, that's nice. Good for you.
People are terrified of me. How do you not know? You guys are assholes.
We can use this lodge as a base of operations for our hunting expeditions. I'll let you.
I love Sir Hammerlock.
Press that switch and let there be light.
Clearly the switch, yeah, I was gonna say it's gotta be outside. Man, it feels weird to like play keyboard mouse again. Take a couple weeks break and next thing you know you feel completely gimped on it.
Begin our hunt. Tally ho!
The things I was looking forward to most at E3 I felt were sort of a letdown. I really wanted some in-game actual footage of Gears of War 5. The little thing they showed us sort of let me down, especially because at this point in my very old age of 31, going to be 32 here soon, I feel like the wantingness to play competitive games online is gone for me. I feel like I'm... What's up, Thane? I'm greatly enjoying single-player adventures. You know, I'll PvE with people, but when it comes to games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, stuff like that, I really don't want to have to really play against people anymore. Sort of, I don't know if I'm just getting old and my competitive spirit's dead, or maybe I'm just, you know, sick and tired of getting destroyed online because I suck. So, kind of seeing not footage that I wanted to see from Gears 5 did definitely bum me out. I do plan to get it. Hopefully, it's decent.
Once I've repaired the station, you can summon a dinghy, travel deeper into the swamp, and start hunting some real game.
That makes me happy. I want to hunt some real game. Oh yeah, that's right. You get the weird little boats in this. Yeah. You know, everyone's super excited about Cyberpunk, and I know, very unpopular opinion, I just don't see it. I don't see what all the hype is for. I'm sure the game will be good, or should be good, but for me, I don't get it. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it's got Keanu Reeves in it. Well, I'm sorry, but to me, having Keanu Reeves in it isn't going to necessarily make the game great or better for him being in it or not. I think that that's sort of a weird argument to make. You know, is it a first-person shooter game? Probably. Will I like it? I would assume I might. Oh, that's a shotgun. I might. But for some reason, the Cyberpunk game is just not doing anything for me. I know, like I said, a lot of people are gonna kind of moan and groan about that, and quite frankly, that's fair. I don't know why. It doesn't look like a game I want to play. A game that did look good to me, though I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion again, is the Conan Chop Chop game. The graphic style on it just looks totally ridiculous. You know, I like kind of the occult and the ridiculous and the weird stuff like that, so I feel like that game is going to greatly offer me some fun stuff. The Vermintide 2 footage, I was unaware of what the Vermintide games were. After seeing the video that they showed, I was like one click away from buying the game, but I did have to kind of tell myself, like, hey, we went crazy on buying games. We're not even home currently. We're not home that often, I should say. So, sort of buying games right now for me is, I don't want to say pointless, but I'm still trying to catch up on the catalog of games we just bought. I know, again, unpopular opinion, Epic had a sale, or is having a sale, I should say, and we ended up buying a good chunk of games from them. For people who like roguelike games or action RPG games, I cannot recommend Hades enough. That game has been really, really great to me so far. The graphical style on it, to me, is stunning. The gameplay is tight, the controls are solid. The only problem I have with the game is that I suck at roguelike games, so it's obscenely hard for my small brain. The fact, though, that it kind of keeps track of your progress and you can level stuff up, yeah, I do. Thank you for reminding me. These grenades ain't terrible compared to what we just had, but I do have madness for getting rid of those nades. Wait, what the hell is that? Dude, I don't remember those at all in this game. Like, what was that noise? Wow. No, don't level up! Oh, yeah, there we go. Well, damn, how long do I gotta protect Hammerlock for? Damn. He's not doing brain surgery. Oh, no.
Is that horribly overdramatic so-and-so? Those savages almost. I finished repairing the catcher boat. Grab a dinghy and get going.
Oh yeah, let's make a
Now
dinghy.
let's go hunting. I've heard tell of an unusual creature out in Silas Grove.
Whereas I know we just unlocked, I think, a skin for one of the things. Oh yeah.
Out there, find it and do what you do best. By which I mean blast it to tiny bits, of course.
Well, seeing how this is the main story mission, we're actually gonna follow Hammerlock here. Go back to the bounty board. Net some more missions first. Since we're actually gaining experience this time, I feel like the grinding is absolutely worth it at this point. Though I can say we keep getting hung up on weird stuff. I don't know if maybe that's just me not controlling very well, or the DLC, or whatever, but it feels like we are
Oh, I hear tell of a Borok that dines only on human flesh.
getting caught on
You'll have
random
to be
stuff.
either extremely clever or extremely suicidal to lure it out. I've marked its lair on your Echo device. Head there now.
And I guess that is what it is. I know Borderlands, again, I said at the top of the stream, Borderlands got some new DLC. No, I have not touched it yet. We'll get around to it. Right now I'm trying to catch up on other stuff and things.
Dietmar von Heinrich Zimmerschneit, and I search for truth. I am filming a documentary about hunting, about you. You will capture the monstrositat, while I record mine director's commentary. I have set up cages. Find them.
I like to take a break in between each pickup here, just because they do have stories
Dietmar von Heinrich
or talking
Zimmerschneit
attached to them.
speaks to you. The documentary I am filming about you needs a scene of a warrior collecting eggs. Eggs collecting is extremely popular with my target audience. Retrieve some for me, and I will narrate your descent into the Yoki epicenter of the human soul.
Walking your hands on my collar. Oh, wait. What am I doing? You don't speak English. Sorry. I'm one of the native bandits you've been shooting at around here. How you doing? Anyway, there are a few rare and irritating creatures I'd like you to kill for me. No way to know where or when they'll turn up, though. Just keep your fingers crossed and your eyes open.
So as normal, we're not going to do the main story mission, right away. We're going to take care of the optional ones first, just because we can. Okay, so our story one is the Professor Nakayama or whatever. Seems good to me. So let's go make one of them their boats and get on our way. So yeah, the new DLC for Borderlands, I know added a little bit of story to it. I'm not really sure. I don't know if it was like an end game boss or just a small little section in the game. The best thing we've noticed so far is for the fast travel. It actually broke up the fast travel according to the DLC. OMG, that is the greatest thing this game could have ever added. It's a small thing, but for us it's huge, especially because we are not the... we're not always the brightest bulb. Forgot how to... Okay, so F makes us go a little faster. Got it. They added some new gun rarities. The rainbow rarity is now officially in the game. Not just in the mods anymore, which I think is good. Is it a big change to the game? Absolutely not. Is it cool to see things like Borderlands 2 still getting content? Of course. You know, as we've gushed before on stream, Borderlands 2 is definitely one of our more favorite franchises. You know, we're still hoping 3 isn't a mistake. If it is, it is. It does happen. Hopefully, they do it justice. But you never know. Oh yeah, game? There we go. Where's driver's seat? Boom. I am thinking after we beat the Borderlands franchise, we still have... Okay, so there's been a little snag on that. We have the pre-sequel to go through yet. One more DLC after the Hammerlock DLC to go through. It appears as though Tales from the Borderlands, excuse me, is no longer available for purchase on the Steam store. If that is the case, we might not be able to do that, at least on stream. I do have it for my Xbox, but I don't have a face cam there, so that one's still sort of up in the air for the time being. But it seems like Borderlands 3 is saying and doing all the right things right now. It looks like it's adding...
The Vault Hunter collects the eggs for reasons known only to them. Boredom, justice, because I paid them to do so. We can but speculate.
But it seems like they're doing everything right. I know Moe's, normally I'm not excited for the soldier characters, but her Iron Panda or Iron Bear mech seems absolutely sweet. It looks really cool. Even the siren in this game looks fantastic. Normally I just kind of shrug at the siren. On this game, Borderlands 3, it seems as though we're actually more excited to play with all the characters this go around, which I think is fantastic. They were able to make, at least to me, interesting characters in every class. We're going to switch this sniper off here because we don't need the acidic for now. We'll put the slag on though. I like how right as I say, hey, we don't need that anymore, we find armored baddies. Go figure. Oh, well, he melted pretty quick, so it's not too bad, I guess. But I'm thinking after Borderlands, I might go into some Shenmue action. For people who don't know what that is, it's a very archaic open world RPG-esque style game. Okay. It's not necessarily the most exciting game in the world, but we're looking forward to number 3, even in light of the Epic exclusivity deal, which we'll discuss later. Um, you know, with some more EA stuff, though, not EA, excuse me, E3 stuff. I do think that there was a lot of stuff for people to be happy about. While I don't care personally, what is going on here? There he is. Oh no! Oh hey, they sap health from you. That's pretty juicy. You gotta remember that they sap health from you. I mean, we have on a health regen mod, so hopefully that'll sort of help us here a little bit. Ooh, a purple thing. Aww, thought that was gonna be something sweet. I mean, I guess iridium's good, but I guess a real item, quote unquote, would have been better. Again, I'm not a big Animal Crossing fan, and I saw that it got delayed, but I do agree that sometimes delaying a game is better than releasing a pile of crap.
In Hunter's Grotto, a sedentary symbol of the warrior's cruel indifference. Vault Hunter, you must lure the monstrositat into the cage, then trap it inside.
You know, it's better to release a game, sort of make sure it's good to go, than it is to just release trash because you know you could. Kind of how it sounded like Bethesda sort of manned up and just said, hey, you know, we definitely released this game being 76 in a not so great release way, but we knew that it wasn't good, but we knew we were going to fix it. Seeing stuff like that definitely worries me. Also seeing, from my understanding, the Square Enix Avengers game appearing to be a live or a games as a service thing. I am no longer a fan of games as a service, seeing how bad the gaming companies have sort of how do I want to word this? I want to say took advantage of, but I mean, seeing how many games like Anthem have come out not complete, didn't sell like they wanted to, and now they've just sort of put the entire game on a back burner. I'm not okay with that. You know, I was lucky enough to have one of our faithful viewers donate the game to us, so we didn't have to quote-unquote waste our money on it. We had our fun with the game. We played through it. It is very vanilla, though. There's really nothing spectacular about it. I mean, it's definitely a serviceable game. I've played worse, but at the same time, the game is very lackluster. Not a ton of memorable stuff that happened. And I think with stuff like that, it's very depressing when a game comes out and definitely doesn't come out great. Forcing people to sort of be the guinea pigs until they get their fixes. I don't see that as fair at all. I absolutely hate when the companies do stuff like that, and it seems like as time goes on, there's probably just going to be a recurring theme, which I am absolutely against. I feel like if you're going to release your game, you know, you should definitely support the people who bought it right away. Sales or not, I don't care. You know, you sort of, by releasing your game intentionally as a service, I feel like you should be able to keep up with it instead of releasing essentially a shit product in hopes that, you know, well, you know, we'll sell just enough copies to keep supporting it. To me, that's bunk. You know, if you're going to release a game, especially as the cost of everything's are going up, and I understand too, don't get me wrong, right? Games aren't cheap to make anymore. Rising costs, teams, you know, the potential of just having awful sales and stuff like that. I understand the the scaredness to really release a game and just have it be the game now. But at the same time, I don't feel like the consumer or the customer should be punished because you weren't sure how well your product really was. That's something that's got to stop. Of course, hopefully sooner than later. I know I don't really plan to buy any more or too many live games or games as a service now, just because
The Monstrositat stares at the Vault Hunter, and the Vault Hunter stares.
am completely against sort of their motto or models at this point of just intentionally pissing in the customer's face. You know, clearly that's not okay. Wait. The hell, I killed it? Wow, I didn't even see it. Huh. Okay. Well, whatever it was must be awfully small. Or our grenades are just regretfully that strong. Which I guess could be as well. You know, I know there's a couple new Zelda games coming out for the Switch. I'm not a big Zelda fan, personally. I know, again, you know, unpopular opinion. And that is sort of what it is. Okay, so that didn't light anything up. That didn't light anything up. And that didn't light anything up. Well, what in the hell is going on? But the games do look interesting for sure. The remake of Link's Awakening, I believe it was, had a nice art style to it. I liked the perspective of the cam. I think everything about it actually looks really nice. It's just I'm not a very big Zelda fan. Are the games fantastic? Absolutely. Are some of them even masterpieces? Of course. But not every game is for everybody, and sadly the Zelda franchise is just one of those things that I never super resonated with. I love my first-person shooter games. Probably way more than I should, but I guess sometimes you just gotta be, you know, you gotta kind of stick to what you like. Now where am I going here with this? Okay, I gotta go back up. That kind of sucks. Well, I guess if we leave that there, we can loop back around, jump down, grab our truck, and away we go. Or our boat, I mean. But you know, I want to hear your comments. If you actually watched E3, what did you think about it? Is there anything you're excited for? Did you find a game that you honestly didn't even know was a game or was coming out that you actually got excited for because of E3? What was your biggest disappointment? I know over the last couple of days we'd been asking that over on the Facebook, over on the Twitter, stuff like that. But I'm curious to hear from you, you know, so if you want to drop your comments while we're playing here, feel free to do so. Okay, I think the little ones just explode anyways. There's really no point to force that there. Okay, so we have to reap that sucksy. Okay, let's not mess this up this time.
And I search for truth. I am filming a documentary about hunting, about you. You will capture the Monstrositat while I record my director's commentary. I have set up cages. Find them.
Man, the control on the little boat here, the controls are really floaty. I do hope that's something that tightens up in number 3. I know that the gunplay is tight, you know, the characters look spot on, normally the Borderlands charm is there, but I will say that the driving in these games always just feels so much like an afterthought. I hope that that's something that the franchise can sort of change and fix. So speaking of another game we're looking forward to here, and sort of one of the controversies that go with it, Shenmue 3. First, I'd like to say, for those who did back it on Kickstarter and are currently sort of going through the struggles or getting kicked over it, sort of beat up from the company, I want to say I'm sorry. You know, I understand that not everybody is absolutely okay with the Epic Store. Unpopular opinion, I really don't care. As long as I can play my game, I don't care if I have to have 5 launchers. You know, I mean, whatever. You know, it's kind of how the companies make their money, even if it is in a very lame fashion. It is what it is to me.
A sedentary symbol of the warrior's cruel indifference. Vault Hunter, you must lure the Monstrositat into the cage, then trap it inside.
Well, whoever's calling me, you chose a bad time to call. I also want to throw a quick shout out here before we keep rambling again. I want to say thank you to my subscribers. Even though I haven't been streaming, a lot of you were cool enough to renew your sub this month, and I want to say super awesome. I know that we haven't really been around at all due to real life stuff, and I just want to say, you know, thank you for renewing your sub. It does actually mean a lot to us to show that there's people out there who, even if we're not doing stuff, are still sort of quote unquote donating to the cause. You know, I definitely appreciate it. It means a lot to me to see people, you know, helping support the channel, even if we're not necessarily keeping up our end of the deal. Okay. I don't know how we trap this thing though. I wonder if they'll just follow us, because I'm afraid to shoot it. Because our grenade one-shotted it last time, so I feel like this is a joke here, and it's a trap or something, you know. But Shenmue 3 recently announced at E3, kind of pulling the rug out from beneath their customers, saying that, hey, just so you know, to give you the most enjoyable game, we put it on the Epic Store. Again, I did not back the game. I have no pony in this race. But I will say, I'm very upset at companies doing stuff like this just because you had advertised for Steam, there's a Steam page up, and then for you to randomly go, we're gonna go Epic only. I'm hoping that that was a last minute change. You know, was it a last minute change? Probably not. You know, using the Unreal Engine, you can't tell me they were unaware that that was a thing. Wait, what the hell? No.
We're supposed to trap the Monstrositat, not execute him. We must try again.
Son of a bitch. Well, this sucks. Oh, we're gonna try it again. Hopefully we get it this time. But currently they're not issuing refunds to the backers of the Kickstarter, which personally I do have a problem with, especially because they were only advertising Steam as their PC choice, and now of course Steam was and is everywhere. You know, it's very hard to, I guess, deny Steam's presence. Of course, the Epic Store just sort of sprung up recently, but I don't like when stuff like this happens, just because, you know, we know that for the people who don't like the Epic Store, being told, you know, well, that's your only option, or you can switch to your PS4 copy. You know, not every PC gamer has a game console. So sort of telling the people who backed your game kind of tough titties, to me is not okay. You know, I know there's some people who don't care, and I know there's some people who might villainize me for still trying to support the game. I do know when Shenmue comes out, I do plan to get it. Even if I don't disagree with their Epic only, you know, again, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Unpopular opinion, I don't care if I have to have multiple launchers. Just as long as I can play the games I want to play. For me personally, it's not the end of the world. You know, I do understand the wantingness of just all your games sort of in one thing. To a point, I can't cry over it. But I do think it's kind of messed up to tell people, hey, you know, do you want your Steam key or whatever? And then just to go, you know, JK LOL, it's Epic only. I think that makes game companies look bad, especially because, you know, you're receiving money, especially on a game like Shenmue, where it doesn't have the mass appeal that other games have. It's got a very kind of dedicated market, especially at this point. Speaking of that, I think Shenmue 1 came out in 2001, and I want to say the other one, because it was on the Dreamcast, number 2 didn't really get released in America. I think it did get released in Europe. Of course, it came out in Japan and those regions. But the dedicated to play it had to kind of go through hoops to do that. And I feel like to slap the people in the face who backed your game is not really right on you. You know, does my opinion matter? Sadly, no. Again, I didn't back the game. Being broke is real, but at the same time, I don't feel like you should treat your customers in a manner that make you look like you're just money hungry. You know, we're just gonna take an undisclosed amount of money from Epic and then tell you you can only get it from Epic. I don't think that's fair to the customers. Clear, they get it too. What should you make in Modern? Duh, dude, the best deck ever. Green Black X, my bro Loney. I do know after looking through the pile of cards that I have left for Modern, my current options are Mardu Shadow or Mardu Pyromancer. I am missing the Black Cleave Cliffs, but I feel like I'm just going to go all in on Mardu and say, well, whatever. It's a fair deck. It's got some of my favorite cards. So I have no problem rolling with it. Do I plan to be hyper competitive? Of course not. Do I have the itch to play Magic again? Absolutely. Specifically Modern. You know, you can get your standard fix on Arena, but sometimes you just need those eternal formats. Okay, so now I have to figure out how to trap this dude here. You know, I look at some decks in Modern right now, like Humans. I think Humans might be on a downslope. I know a lot of people are sort of making a big deal about this new Mulligan rule change or going to the London Mulligan change. And personally, to me, I feel like it's actually going to help a lot of fair decks just because you can kind of aggressively go more towards your sideboard cards within reason. Still sort of custom craft your hand a little bit. Most combo decks in Modern, specifically Modern, do have to kind of sell their soul to get there. So personally, as it is right now, though I haven't got to play with it yet, I do think that the Modern Mulligan rule, or the London Mulligan rule, excuse me, will help more fair decks, honestly. Don't get me wrong, it helps combo, of course. I mean, there's really no way around that. You know, it is what it is. Okay, now let's try this. Wow, we messed that up last time.
Cursing not only the Vault Hunter who trapped him there, but fate itself, the cruel mistress she is. But mostly the Vault Hunter. Return to me for your reward, my friend.
But looking at sort of the cards that have come out recently, I do think that Modern Horizons will have a bigger impact on Modern than most people thought. I know a lot of people kind of laughed at it, like, You know, it only has a couple of cards, and it's not like, don't get me wrong, out of the, we'll just say 250 cards, you know, all 250 cards are gonna like change the world and light everything ablaze. But it is good to see a format like Modern. Um, wait, where do I gotta go? Oh, okay. Kind of get a targeted push. You know, I do think that some decks, I do think burn potentially becomes worse from the new Mulligan rule, specifically in Modern. You know, being able to aggressively search for your ley lines forces them to aggressively search for their hate, in turn potentially lowering their number of cards that they initially draw down of sorts. But I think that like Karn right now, any deck that can feasibly play Karn and the whole Karn sideboard plan and all that stuff, and not necessarily just Tron, but I do think a lot of decks that can support Karn play are looking mighty good right now. Essentially having your sideboard game 1 is huge, especially when it's all tech to just troll people. Oh, we're going down. We're going down. Okay, hopefully we get up though. Oh, wait, what did we kill? Our shield must have killed something for us. Noise. Oh shit. Come on, let me up. Let me up. Oh yeah, big boy. Do I think the Karn thing is a problem? Okay. I think there's two sides to this, and I'm gonna try to be diplomatic for both sides here. What the hell? How do these dudes level up?
I enjoyed that.
The way I look at Karn, or the new Karn, not Karn Liberated, but I think it's Great Creator? I'm pretty sure it's Great Creator. Wow, you survived my nades, bro. Is it just another engine that some decks can run? Now I know I say engine, and it's pretty much just Karn and a whole bunch of craziness out of your board. No, don't fall. Shit. No. God, game, what are you doing? I don't want to say it's a problem yet, just because the set's only been out, you know, a month and a half or so, and a lot of the results, in my opinion, are a little skewed, just because right now you have a lot of people, instead of really trying to solve what's making these problems, is instead they're just playing it. Same thing with the new Convoke, Delve dude. You know, right now there's this mad rush that, oh, you know, something has to be banned from this deck because, well, to be fair, Bridgevine decks have been around for a while. Did they get a new tool? Yes. Is that a really good tool? I would say it's turning out to be. I know a lot of people who sort of looked at the card when spoiler season was out, was just kind of whatever. Some people were like, this card could be broken, because any card that can't have mana be spent on it is either looking to be broken or it's complete crap. But I do think that, you know, like I said, I look at Karn right now, the new 4-mana one, basically as an engine. Clearly it can't go into every deck. Does it make some decks better because they can support it? I do believe so, yes. But we haven't seen enough real raw evidence yet. There hasn't really been enough huge tournaments yet for us to have the pitchforks out to necessarily scream bloody murder quite yet. I do think Dredge is good. You know, it's one of those really weird decks, and according to some people, it's a mid-range list. Do I look at it as mid-range? No. But I think right now in Modern is a graveyard-based format. It's just something you have to accept. You know, Legacy uses the stack. Modern uses their graveyard. Is the same thing? Of course not, but I think that you have to either play the format and accept the style of decks that are there, or just continue to stomp your feet and disapprove of the format. I do think, though, with that said, in my opinion, there needs to be better graveyard hate cards. Seeing decks, we'll just say like the older Bridgevine lists that were running wait. Okay, we're gonna try to go down here. If this is a bad move, I guess YOLO hashtag whatever, but there's got to be something down here for me. I think that they need to make better graveyard hate cards. I know a lot of people are still screaming for Amulet, or not Amulet, excuse me. I was reading the chat. Not Amulet. For Faithless Looting to get banned, because a lot of these graveyard decks are graveyard shenanigan decks. Definitely, I hope I'm going the right way. If not, I'm going to be real mad. Do make use of their graveyard and have enablers through things like, oh really, game? Rip skis. What the hell's that? Huh. Wonder what that is. Anyway. But I just think that we need more hate, or there has to be more reprints for hate, with such things as reprints, surgical extraction and stuff like that. I do agree that 70-30 decks do brick. As a matter of fact, I think, and I know there's going to be people who disagree with me on this, kind of decks that are designed that way to be 70-30, in my mind, are sort of designed to brick sometimes, and that's where the strength of those decks are. As dumb as that might sound, you know, what do you mean a deck's made to brick? Well, you know, when you're selling your soul for combo, it's going to happen. God, I wish we could find a machine soon, because, like, I have so much loot I gotta dump off. But I think that Wizards just needs to print better hate specifically for Modern. You know, clearly we're not going to get another Horizons set tomorrow or anything like that, but I do think that there is some things that can and probably should be done to sort of help keep the format fair. I know a lot of people hate the card Force of Will and Legacy. It's the reason why they don't want to play it, but it's sort of the safety valve. I do think that the cards printed for Modern Horizons, while definitely a step in the right direction, with the Force of Negation, the Force of Vigor, and the Force of Despair specifically, I do think that they also have the problem of being like too fair. You know, Force of Vigor is sort of a bad draw with no cards in hand, or if you want to use it for free, sort of having to wait a full turn to be able to use that. Sometimes that one turn will put you behind and you'll still lose anyway. So, you know, it's good that it can't. The blue one cannot protect combo, which I think is fantastic. I'm glad to see that. Technically, by design, the cards are safe. I guess they're safer than their alternatives. But I do think too they might have gone a little too safe with some of the cards. Having a free negate is neat in theory, but I don't think it necessarily properly solves all the issues. It is just essentially a negate, which is kind of weird. I'm not saying Modern needs Force of Will. Clearly, Modern needs its own card pool to me. I think keep Legacy feeling like Legacy. Let Modern have its own vibe. Just because if every format felt the same, there'd be no point to play different formats. You know, I know a lot of people for Modern Horizons wanted things like Force of Will and that to be in there, and quite frankly, I don't think that would have necessarily been the healthiest choice. specifically when Modern doesn't have some of the outrageous cards that Legacy does. Wait, I think I already collected that though, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Well, I guess since we're having to go back, let's just go turn this damn mission in. Hopefully those vending machines are on so we can go sell some crap quick. You know, but I think right now you have to look at the quote-unquote best Modern or the tier 1 Modern decks, and it's hard to make an argument against things like Dredge, things like Arclight. I do think Humans still has a ton of game. I do think Humans is still a mighty fine good deck. Let's collect this egg here quick. You know, it's kind of sad to see. I don't want to say where the format's going because Modern has sort of always been sort of its own beast for a while. Once they sort of pulled away from Modern being like super mid-rangey, like I know that's what they wanted, and clearly, in my opinion, through Wizards' card design team, you know, that didn't happen. We want a turn 4 format. Okay, you know, we want mid-range decks. Okay. Well, like most Eternal formats, as time goes on, the mana costs come down, the power levels of the decks go up, and what you think you want is no longer realistic. You know, I'm not going to say that mid-range decks can't be a thing, but I mean, you look at a deck like Murder Pyromaster, and the card that made it good, being Blood Moon, while still being a very mighty fine hoser of a card, has lost all of its value because the format can just power through stuff like that. And I'm also very curious to see going forward. I know they may have, the Humans deck may have just won the Invitational. I did get my free card on Hearthstone. I turned my Hearthstone on the other day just to get that free card, as dumb as that is. That I want to say it was a robot or a mech or something like that.
The director's cut of this film will be 14 hours long.
But I'm curious to see
I ain't a real doctor.
how the format shapes up with, with the Modern Horizon cards in it now. There will be some changes coming. The new Mulligan rule is going to change some stuff as well. I still think Humans is a good deck just because it does have fair game versus most of the format. Maybe not versus everything, but it does have enough disruptive plays. It floods the board just right to allow it to sort of do its thing. But like I said, I'm very curious to see going forward now with, like, I do think Humans will be able to play some of the Horizon lands, whatever you kids are calling them. You know, I think some of the combo decks are clearly going to want them. I think Burn's going to want the red-white ones. So, I mean, the format might get a little quicker here, which I kind of think is weird just because I felt like Modern was already sort of fast enough. Do I think Modern's in a bad place? No. You know, Modern has always been, well, correction, not always been. Over the years, Modern has continually been this ever-changing and interesting format where, I thought there was an egg over here. Am I stupid? I thought I saw an egg. Well, I'm dumb. Well, whatever. Nuke these dudes. Man, these dudes do so much damage. Why do you do so much damage? I guess it feels good to get down though. But I think right now, for a format like Modern, I don't think now is the time to make a new deck. You know, yeah, you're kind of fighting potential price spikes, excuse me, by waiting. Which of course sucks. You know, nobody wants to quote unquote overpay for cards. But I do think that stuff will be changing. You know, I do think the good decks that are sort of already out there, of course, stay good. But I'm very interested to see what happens from Horizons. I know a lot of people look down on the set. They're not happy with it. They didn't like it. And I have a feeling this is going to be that set that sort of pushes things in motion for there to be some, not necessarily sweeping changes, but there's going to be some interesting brews coming out. There's going to be some crazy decks coming out. And while I think right now in Modern, I'll say 60 at least percent of the quote-unquote tier 1 decks or the good decks or whatever you would like. What the hell? Hey, it's a bully mode. Have kind of, or not have kind of, they usually need their graveyard. And I know for a lot of people, I think the argument for graveyard hate and removal too. I think like things like Fatal Push is okay. But I think when it comes to removal, at this point, removal should have to exile, because if not, things like Arclight and that, you just have a recurring threat, and for a lot of people it's going to get old. I like where that's going. I think that deck would be so busted that they're going to ban it. Because, you know, a 4-mana Planeswalker that doesn't end the game on the spot is just too good confirmed. You know, as we've seen with a ton of other cards that are 4 mana, you just win, especially when it doesn't impact the board enough. But I think that right now it's really hard to sort of commit to a deck right now. When there's going to be changes, there's going to be growing pains, lists are going to get new tools. See, I think swords would be a better fit for Modern, in my opinion, than Path. Just because Path is right now not really seeing play because it's such a big disadvantage. I mean, you figure turn 2, you give your opponent a land, they could potentially combo off next turn. As weird as that is and how sad as that is, Path at this point is no longer that epic removal spell that we love. Instead, it's that card that you sort of have to play as an omission, but at the same time, you know it's not really safe enough to play anymore. Don't get me wrong, White still offers you amazing sideboard options, but I just think as Modern shifts, the staples of the format to a point start to become liabilities. And while that's okay, you know, I think formats need change. I just think that a card like Path is just too much of a help right now. I just shut the PC down on my phone. What? How do you do that? Or do you have it like connected somehow? That's pretty sweet if you do. I feel like I'm going the wrong way, but we're gonna see here. Do they just keep spawning, or am I getting trolled? Because if they do, like, this is stupid for me to sit here. Really? I just can't go any more this way? Well, whatever. But there's eggs. And we need those eggs.
The genesis of life. The beginning of creation itself.
Oh, okay.
And yet so nummy. So very,
Oh,
very nummy.
no. Thanos Hunter was saying how he would like to see something like Swords to Plowshare in Modern, and I feel like right now that card is so big of a liability that you know, Swords probably should be in Modern at this point because giving your opponent a land is just awful. Okay, so I'm gonna make an argument here against Vindicate. I don't want anybody to like this. I want everyone to strongly disagree with me. I'm just trying to look at this here through the mindset of Wizards. We won't get Vindicate because we already have that Anguish Unmaking. So in my mind, that immediately removes Vindicate from Modern. While I would be okay with that, I think that that's too much filtering in their mind. Again, in their mind, not mine. Theirs being Wizards. Him, I actually think him would be perfectly fine. I know a lot of people are probably gonna kind of poo-poo that idea. That's fair. But I don't think him would destroy Modern in any way, shape, or form. I feel like Back to Basics would be fine because it's too slow. Speaking that most decks can function off, you know, 2 to 4 lands anyway. Every deck has their 1 or 3 basics that they need to truly function, and everything else is just a whatever. I don't think they want a thing like Sylvan Scrying, or not Sylvan Scrying, excuse me, Sylvan Library in the format just because it's too much card sculpting. I think it would be a great tool for fair decks, specifically things like Rock, Jund, maybe if Junk makes this miraculous comeback, Junk. But I also know, you know, Wizards sort of fears any card that allows you to dig or draw outside of Faithless Looting, just because it is 100% card disadvantage by default. The first time you cast it, it's essentially a 3 for 2. The next time it's 2 for 2, so you are just breaking even. But it's not just a cantrip, so I mean, I guess I get it. Damn, this Witch Doctor is fast. Holy hell, we gained a level. It's been so long. But I think for a format like Modern to be more in line with what people want, and I could be way off base from this, I haven't played Modern in about a year now. So this is just outside looking at opinions, really raw hot takes. Oh, I thought we had something there. Now where's our skill trees? Sure. You know, again, we don't need Modern to have legacy feel, so I think a lot of cards that people wanted, specifically things like Daze, you know, clearly I don't think Ponder, Brainstorm, like stuff like that's never going to happen. You know, you got to have your formats feel different, or again, there's no point to play different formats. Deep down, Wizards might not love formats like Vintage and Legacy, but they also know that formats like Vintage and Legacy are what keep older players, such as myself, still legitimately interested in the game. Oh, damn it. Son of a biscuit. You know, let's see where Modern Horizon puts us once the format kind of stabilizes here. It's still in an interesting place due to things like the War of the Sparks series or set that came out, you know. I think more cards had more implications than people realized. So let's see where that puts us before we start either A, asking for more cards, 2, demanding better stuff. I do think that Horizons will have a bigger impact than people realize, but it'll be more of a subtle impact than just like this completely turned the entire format on its head. And there's so many cards that are sort of being looked down upon right now, with huge upsides to me. Am I the best evaluator for cards? Well, if you look at my Kaya Orzhov Urshifer track record, the answer is yes.
The Vault Hunter collects the eggs like so many marbles. But who can win this marble game of life?
And I only say yeah because that card's hard to see in play.
Marbles at all, but some entirely different sphere-based metaphor.
Though not really great.
Life is uncertain.
Oh yeah, I forgot I had this. This sniper's nutty. So like I said, let's see where the format shakes out. Once we actually have real tournament results with it. And honestly, I feel like this set might take a while to actually like shake stuff up, because I think so many people are going to be looking to try to break formats and stuff with it that I don't think the first month of records are actually going to be legit. I think it's going to take you know, a good 6 weeks, maybe even 8 weeks to get real results. Sort of let people figure out what works, what doesn't work. You know, I look at Karn, and I still think the reason why Karn is so good is because there's so many people sort of forcing it right now, instead of sort of waiting to see how it shakes out. Same thing with the Convoke Dredge dude, or Delve, I mean, excuse me. You know, give that time. Let's see what really comes from it before we get our pitchforks out. You know, and I still think a card like Young Pyromaster, I love that card anyway, but a Seasoned Pyromaster, I think that card has so much upside. It's a strong top deck when you have no cards in hand. Cast it to draw 2. You know, who cares if you're not getting the creatures off it? It's still a 3-mana 2/2 that draws you 2 cards. That's pretty good. Like I said, the Horizon lands are going to change stuff. So let's see where it goes. But like I said, I don't feel like right now is the time to really try to build a new deck. I want to say, see where the format shakes out, see what happens.
Now, you've 2 options for luring out the human-hungry Borlock. You can lure a savage into the Borlock's lair and summon him that way, or you can injure yourself and let the scent of your blood awaken a beast.
And again, another shout out to everyone who has subbed while we've been sort of lacking on our streaming. It makes me feel good. You know, hopefully you guys have been checking out the people we've been hosting. We've been trying to host as often as we can, just to try to share the love a little bit. I should make EDH first. You know, I think too that while Horizon definitely has a EDH or Commander vibe, whatever you like to call it,
Mine.
personally, I'm okay with that. You know, I do think every set sort of has implications for EDH, and that are some of the cards in Horizons bad? You know, absolutely. I kind of wish that we would have got Oubliette finally, even if it would have been like a rare. You know, I mean, let's help Popper. There's so many things I think that this set could have done. It just missed the mark. But I think let's let the dust settle. You know, I think Legacy is going to get a shake up. Clearly, Modern. I'm a firm believer in something's going to happen there. Prevent human sacrifice. Find a volunteer, huh? Well, we're not really sure what that means, so we're just gonna try to wing it here. Hopefully we can get this done. And I like how every gun we pick up is essentially just garbage right now. You know, blowing keys definitely equals...
Now quickly, strike it down.
Wait. I'm not really sure what happened there. But we killed ourselves. And that's, I guess, whatever.
Hyperion suggests that you do not think about the fact that your current body is only a digital reconstruction of your original body, which died the first time you respawned. Do not think about this.
Well, I guess at least we're up top here, so it's not too bad. But sort of staying on the magic conversation here, again, because we haven't been home, we haven't really been following stuff like we like to. So when it comes to things like standard, I have no clue what's going on in standard. I would assume the format probably hasn't changed too much standard-wise. I'm sure there's still Planeswalkers decks. I feel like burn is probably still quote-unquote burning stuff and things. And I'm okay with that. As for what's my thoughts on Shardless and Modern, I think Shardless and Modern is too good. And here's why. Modern isn't really a format full of things that really offer card advantage. I do know Bloodbraid at this point is absolutely too slow. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh no, it's broken. You know, Shardless at 3 would probably be a better quote-unquote free play, if you will. But I think it's too much. Especially with that new Rhino card coming out, like, you know, potentially having a turn 2 2/4/4s, a Strix, and a Mana Dork, like, that could be really strong. I would like to see the format actually have more interaction. You know, I think that as Modern kind of goes on, in my opinion, because the answers aren't solid enough, the format continues to just stray away from interactive decks and continually goes more and more towards the quote-unquote dark path that is uninteractive decks. Is that a bad thing? Hot take? No, not really. I do think that not every deck has to interact to be a quote-unquote good format. Should decks interact with each other? Absolutely. But I do think something like Shardless could be really rough, just because that 3 mana does lead to turn 2 snowballing. You know, are the cards in Modern as good as Legacy cards? No. And anyone who thinks so is absolutely heinous in the head. But there's definitely a great fear there, just because, like I said, the card advantage cards in Modern have always sort of been frowned upon, and I really don't see that changing anytime soon. Would I like to see that change? Potentially. You know, seeing how many decks can abuse things like Graveyard, or decks like Tron, which, you know, for as long as Tron has been around, it hasn't always been the... It's not always the best deck in format. But Tron has been one of those decks that has survived pretty much since the introduction of Modern, and not too many decks can say they've done that. You know, Affinity is still around, and Affinity is still sort of pretty much like, at this point, sort of the go-to aggro deck. You know, I do think Hardened Scales could be a little better just because it has some kind of grindier aspects to it. You know, but I mean, I think the other thing with Modern is too, is that for the decks that do have interaction, things like Rock, things like Jund, and stuff like that, is that it's hard to really have creature-based decks, because Modern for the longest time was creature-based. So once people started packing a whole bunch of creature-based hate, it sort of squeezed those decks out, because you can't get a foot in edgewise when it's just Bolt you, Path you, Helix you, Push you, and now I guess you have things like Assassin's Trophy. There's very little upside to a creature deck unless it's something like Humans, because your every creature usually either interacts with your board state to make your board look better,
Well done, well done.
or it has some form of interacting with the opponent,
Laugh.
which in turns makes all your plays a little more worthwhile. I guess we'll just get rid of that now. We'll have to see which of those is actually better. I think that the shotgun I have on is stronger, but I know the one I have on, or the one that I don't have equipped, hurts me when I use it, so we'll have to take a look at that here in a second.
Let out.
Where's my shoddy? Where's this shoddy? Oh, it's better in every way.
I'm legally obligated to tell you.
Well, I guess we get rid of this one then. Bye. Now then, what do we have left here for missions? Collect eggs, destroy random things. So I guess we can move on to the actual story mission then, just because if it doesn't really matter much. You know, I guess we just keep going forward, and as time goes on here, we'll just keep banging out the missions. I want to buy some ammo quick.
You won't find better merchandise anywhere else. I made sure of that. You're my millionth customer.
But it is weird to see all the quote-unquote powerful hate cards that Modern offers, such as Rest in Peace, Blood Moon. You know, even cards such as like Thoughtseize and Inquisition have become bad. You know, I'm gonna put this card in your graveyard for you, and it doesn't matter. You know, you look at a deck like Arclight, I'm gonna look at your hand, make you discard one of your draw spells. I have hand information. Draw spell, draw spell, draw spell. Well, now they have a fresh hand. You don't really know what they have, and you probably helped them fuel their yard anyway. Same things with things like Dredge and other stuff like that. The cards that were good are almost, I don't want to say unplayable. I think that's going a little too far. But with the way the format's changed, the great staples are no longer good. And then you have things like Blood Moon and Rest in Peace, which are supposed to be the great hosers of the format. They're too slow now. Or the good graveyard decks can power through Nihil Spellbomb, Rest in Peace. Like, that's insane. The decks are getting tighter, and when you can power through the hate like that, yeah, that absolutely starts to scare your player base. Hit him in his booty. That dude's fried. God, it's so good to fight things that actually have a ton of health again. Oh, this is fantastic. I love the struggle. Boing, oing, 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 oing. But I do think that Modern is still technically in a good spot for Modern. You know, if you don't agree with the format, just don't play with it. Instead of asking for a banhammer, you know, just take some time away. Kind of save yourself the heartache, the headache, the heartbreak. I know that's not the most erotic answer for most people, but I feel like it's the honest truth. You know, if you don't like it, just don't play it. That's how that goes. Okay. Well, I feel like all my magic ranting is potentially done. I don't really think there's anything for me to cover with the magic other than, again, I haven't been following it a whole bunch in terms of standard and stuff like that. So, you know, we will go back to having some arena stuff on the channel here at some point. You know, when I don't know. I have to sort of reassess where things are going. Really open up the big picture and see where my decks are. I did make some new ones this morning. You know, are they good? That's something else. There's that. Dude, his pain noises just don't sound right. Like, he sounds like he's enjoying getting hurt a little bit. Just saying. So I guess it's time for me to do the boring standard host-y stuff. You know, ask everyone how their day is going. I know we've been gone for a couple of weeks now, so has anyone been doing anything super exciting, anything super fun? Anyone have any big plans coming up? Wait, what the hell? That dude just like flat out disappeared. That was kind of weird. Well, how the hell do I hit him? Can I hit him? Well, clearly we can't hit that dude right now. Well, what the hell? There we go. I really don't know why that dude's not changing back into like a regular witch doctor. So we just keep running, I suppose. Oh, so for anyone, no. Oh my god. Not part of the subs and Patreon thing. I asked a question there today about potentially changing our name. Don't get me wrong, you know, we're still going to be Twitch McFluffy stuff and all that good stuff. But I kind of felt like for the longest time that, and I kind of did this to myself. It's not anyone's fault. We tried to bite our tongue too much. You know, we're not really like ourselves on stream. I feel like, you know, I want to start talking about more stuff that I like, more stuff that I care about. You know, trying to censor ourselves a little less and stuff like that, just because that's not who we are. For the people who know me, I really do swear like a sailor. A lot of my opinions are not the popular opinions and all that good stuff. So hopefully that's okay with everybody. That I'm gonna try to make the effort more to just sort of do me. You know, it's fun to be a personality, but I think it's more in my wheelhouse to just sort of be me. You know, for better or for worse. Well, I just thought about that. Like, I haven't even been using my power this game. This shotty's so good. Wait. What is he doing? Oh, he's dead. Yeah, so I thought. But I firmly believe that the Ice Fang Coddle is probably as close as we get to Strix in a format like Modern. I don't see them forcing something like that into the format anytime soon. Personally, I feel like there's no real need to, just because, again, card advantage in the format. Aw, we weren't even going the right way. Son of a biscuit. Doesn't really exist in Modern. That sucked. We went all the way up to the top for nothing. That hurts a little bit. I guess we got some experience out of it, but ugh. God, my phone's been going off like all day. Okay. We're probably not gonna do the traditional like, you know, 3+ hour stream today. We're probably gonna cut it a little short, but I at least wanted to get a stream in, you know, just to sort of say, hey, we got one in. I do feel bad, you know. I love the fact that people have been subscribing and that to the channel, but you know, really not holding up my end of the bargain kind of sucks. There we go. So we'll probably go another half hour or so here, and then just call it for the day. I might stream tomorrow. I'm not really sure yet. You know, just sort of keep your ears to the ground, keep your eyes on the Facebook, keep your eyes on the Twitter. While we've been off this week, we have been more, I guess, in tune with our social media stuff, trying to participate a little more, trying to be a little more active in things, just because normally we're not super involved with our social media stuff, and I kind of feel like I should be. So we're going to make more efforts to ask questions, be engaged, be involved with other content creators and stuff of that nature. I make no promises.
It's a fine day.
Now let's sell off all of our crap here. That's crap.
Good luck.
I still like all so far in this DLC, right? Like, we keep
Why
getting
loot the dead when you can buy from me?
the little boat skins. That's cool. But there's so little area to use the damn thing, like the skins don't matter. Which is sort of dumb. So we know our pistol's strong. I want to put on something more. I guess it doesn't matter for now. I love my automatic guns. Just being able to hold the button down feels so much better than just click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. I can say so far this DLC has been, at least for us, aesthetically pleasing. You know, I love the, I don't want to say like the Tarzan feel, but you know, it definitely has to us that kind of vibe to it, which I find kind of interesting. I'm pretty sure I've gone through this DLC before. Again, you know, I don't remember too much from number 2, so maybe I didn't. But overall, I think that the vibe for this DLC is very interesting. We've been a fan. Yeah, what hit me? There's got to be someone throwing something somewhere. Let's check these steps. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a blue thing. We got to get that no matter what. Just a damn boat skin. Oh well. Like I said, it sucks because you don't really get to use your boat here at all. So like, the skins just feel bad. Something good. Nope. Where's our gun?
What is next?
Whatever, that saves me from clicking. 50 shots? Okay. Well, that's a good chunk of shots. Ow. So we don't kill things as quick with this gun, but that's okay. It gives us a reason to use a different style of gun. I don't think we've used a ton of machine guns this playthrough anyway, or assault rifles, so that's cool. Though that dude, he's gonna need to be put down with fire. I like how none of my map is filling out. Like, we've hit a whole bunch of new areas we haven't been to yet, and it's not changing any color. That's kind of creeping me out a little bit. I don't know if my DLC is messed up or not. Hopefully not.
Badass.
Okay, so that looks like a new assault rifle, so we'll have to check that out. Nope. I just don't want fire as fast as you can. That's so gross. I'm lazy like that. I can hold down the left mouse button. I don't want to have to click it 1,000 times. Where the hell am I supposed to go if I can't go up? Interesting. Is there a mission that I botched on somewhere? No? go check again to be safe. Well then. Oh no. Oh. Oh. Okay, we can run around down here and see where this takes us. But I hope everybody slightly enjoyed the stream today. We're super tired. We didn't sleep for shit last night. Oh. Let's go put on our acidic sniper here. That's not it. Nope. But that is.
My armor.
That sucks. And of course they don't roll back through. Man, what doo-doo hits? Oh well, whatever. It is what it is, right?
Greetings, clone of the recently deceased.
Well, at least the good thing is here is there'll be another machine. I thought there was one right here somewhere. Go sell our stuff up. Pick up more ammo.
Think murder, take Marcus munitions.
I feel like the stuff I'm hanging on to, I probably don't need to.
Caveat emptor. Come back anytime.
But we're gonna continue to sandbag it just in case. Rather be safe than sorry, and all that good stuff. Okay, so that's just a checkpoint thing. Money, please? No? Okay. Again, streaming tomorrow. For the time being, still sort of up in the air. We probably will end up streaming again tomorrow. I think after stream tonight or today, we'll look into wow, that's just like better in every way. Probably some magic, maybe do some magic tomorrow. Maybe do some Hearthstone. I know somewhere I have my list of changes I want to make to one of my decks. You know, maybe get around to that. I don't know. We haven't really had the I guess the streamer's mentality as of late. We've been pretty happy just having that boring old painful old 9 to 5 grind. So having to kind of have that running commentary and stuff like that again, I gotta kind of re-get wired for that. It's not something you I don't know, it's weird, man. Streaming is like a whole different mindset, a whole different mentality. At least to try to be engaging. And I do say try to, you know. Oh shit. Well, fine game. So there has to be a mission somewhere that I'm just not doing because that platform is still locked. Hopefully we can find something here. Well, there's probably going to be some dudes to fight here, so let's see what we got. Really? There's just nothing now. So far, I will say that this DLC has a very interesting layout. It definitely doesn't really have that by the numbers feel to it that a lot of the other ones had. I mean, we almost immediately scooped up a mission that we can't even do because the power's out. So like, to a point that's cool, I guess. It kind of makes you work for it, but at the same time, I guess we're like stuck, which is weird. Well, I guess let's just go this way to fill out the map more. You know, hopefully we find something of relevance over here. Where's my fire weapon? But back to some of the E3 discussions. Personally, from my childhood, I'm super excited for the Battletoads game. I know other people might. The art style was kind of weird. I do agree with that. I don't know if it necessarily suits the game well. I do think that I feel like it's hard to mess up. Oh, really, game? Well, at least we're on the boat. Like, that could be a positive for us. That's not the gun I wanted. Where's my sniper?
Good.
No! I like how he said good, which means I took something out right as I died. Which totally sucks. And then for people who have been here since like the start of the channel, I guess weird little like side news.
Hyperion would like to take this opportunity to say cha-ching.
So Blizzard has kind of announced a Borderlands 2, which I think is really interesting. I don't really know if Borderlands needs a number 2. Like, you know, why can't you just keep adding content to this game? But from my understanding, it is supposed to be PvP based, or PvE, excuse me. And if it is PvE, then I am absolutely 1,000,000% about it. Not having to deal with sort of other human players in a competitive level is fine by me. Oh man. I feel like we're going the right way now, because all of a sudden we are running into everything crazy. Wait, why is it healing? What is going on? There's so many dudes. Wow. Oh. Well, look at us finally going the right way. One thing that sucks though is that even though we wanted to switch weapons, I don't feel like there's a point. Our fire weapons, I think, are just 10 out of 10 too strong.
My skills are sharp.
Where's our corrosive sniper? There we go. like I said, I feel like we're finally going the right way. You know, are we? I don't know. Oh yeah, and then as I mentioned too at the top of the stream, for anyone who wasn't here, Fallout 76 is currently free to play until June 17th. I do recommend that, even though the game did get a lot of hate and a lot of flack, you know, give it a try for yourself. I have played it close to 10 hours now over the last 2 days, and I do recommend you give it a try for yourself.
Jolly good show. Wait, you guys are just gonna do your hunting thing? Aren't you even curious as to why I can order these savages around?
We shall deal with you in good time, sir. I promised my companion a pleasurable weekend of hunting, and a gentleman always keeps his word.
What? Come on. You guys fight me already? Please.
Vault Hunter, it appears we shan't get a moment's peace as long as this Nakayama fellow keeps hassling us to go fight him. I've heard some bizarre radio chatter coming from the other side of Sillis Grove. I'm afraid you'll have to head there, stop whatever horrible plans Nakayama has conceived, and save the world. Again.
Great. Yeah, good. That's what I wanted. You won't regret it.
Huh. This DLC has a weird vibe to it so far. Not a bad way, but it definitely has a very interesting sort of feel to it. I still like how our guns just almost feel useless here. I mean, we're hitting them with their default weakness and not really making the dent to their armor like I don't want to say like we should, but like I feel we should. Hey, it's the Hyperion. Okay, so hopefully the one will... Really? Okay, well. Taking out the fans is a quest. We'll happily take the fan guys out.
Chatter. It sounds like Nakayama's savages are engaged in some sort of ritual worship. Lots of chanting and the like. Be careful.
Okay, so now we gotta go up above, and that's fine. Pick up some ammo quick here.
Out of the way. Yes, most of my merchandise was ripped from the hands of dead adventurers.
Get rid of that, get rid of that. Get rid of those. Now let's put on...
No refund.
Okay, we don't want to put on our other... God. We have definitely sort of pigeonholed ourselves here with our choice of weapons.
Can I just say, super pumped we're arch enemies now. You and Jack were nemesis, and now that we're fighting, it's like I'm as cool as Handsome Jack. No, it's like a dream. After you killed Jack, I filled my ship, the HSS Terminus, with iridium and research equipment, determined to carry on his will until I crashed here, anyway, and locked myself out of my own ship. But I will prevail. I will clone Handsome Jack, and he will crush the life out of you.
I do like the fact that this DLC clearly, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it, takes place after the main story.
Slagged.
Okay, I think we got a purple boat skin, which is pretty spicy. Yeah.
What the devil is that chanting all about? Steady on, Vault Hunter. If these savages are worshipping something, that means two things. It'll be Hyperion, and it'll be deadly.
I like how as we were running up, it switched to green. Yoke it.
You've made it. What the devil are they worshipping? A deadly creature? Some Hyperion murder bot?
Hello, traveler.
Oh, really?
Oh, bloody hell.
Minion! Who told you I was vacationing out here? I stowed myself in an HSS Terminus to get away from danger. Look, I know I'm your best friend, but sometimes I just need to sit back, relax, and get worshipped by a bunch of dudes who look kind of like that douchebag you killed.
What you say? Claptrap, what are you doing? Shut up!
What? I'm just saying that if you could measure a human being in douchelocities, Handsome Jack would be off the scale.
He said bad thing! Get him!
Wah! Help!
See?
You saved me! You hear that, you stupid Jack lovers?
The blasphemous screamy screams are coming from over there!
Oh, clearly you did hear that. Whoops.
I love Claptrap as a character so much. Deep down, I think everybody in their life has a character like, knows a person, I should say, like Claptrap.
Fear my skills.
There can't be that many left, can there?
Badass.
No, I guess maybe there is, okay. There we go. Ooh. Aw. Every time I see the purple, I get excited like we're gonna get something good. And then just about every time, it's been a skin.
Thanks for killing those dudes who were worshiping me. I was so tired of their endless affection and respect. So, you want to stop this professor guy from cloning Handsome Jack, huh? I know just what to do. Let's chat. Those savages briefly distracted me from the crushing loneliness of my existence. Before you ganked them, the savages let me in on the professor's plan. He's got a temporary lab set up at Arterton Station that he's using to create iridium-engineered Jack clones. You gotta destroy his samples of Jack's DNA and shut down that lab.
And clearly, he has another mission for us. Oh, whatever.
I propose a quest, you take it, just like in Sanctuary. Mendon! Mendon! My receiver just picked up a blip from another Claptrap unit! I might not be the last of my kind! You've gotta find him!
Okay, what do we got here for missions now? Okay, we got these, which just pretty much do as you go. Nothing's gonna change that. Old Pukey is an optional. Optional. Okay, but we all gotta go to that Grove place. Well, I guess let's go to the Grove place, because that'll hopefully get us to like a save point, or a fast travel machine or something. And then I think we're gonna call it a stream here. We still have some stuff to take care of this afternoon. But with that said, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. It felt good to stream again. Like I said, it's something you gotta kind of be, I guess, prepared for. I wasn't sure if my headset or anything was charged, because we haven't really been home. So again, thanks for everyone who came out. You know, thanks for the lurks, thanks for the conversations, thanks for the sub, all that happy stuff. What do we got here? I think we got some new skins, right? Dreamtime, Hypnosis. I guess we'll go Woody. And clearly, we're not riding that to get there. But as I said, hopefully this will get us to a fast travel or something. So when we restart the DLC, we'll be able to get right here almost immediately.
The true world revealed. Weakness is now known to me. Time to go to work.
Man. These dudes got all the HP. I like how they throw their little spears. It's kind of hot. Oh. I guess this is all in this area then.
It sounds like you're near the blip, but I don't see... Oh wait! That skag swallowed the claptrap unit! You've got to protect the skag until he vomits the claptrap up!
I like that. Protect Pukey. Well, the good thing is here is we have a fire weapon. Most things here are weak to fire, so I think that plays in our favor a little bit. Let the grenades do some of the work too here.
I wonder how that claptrap got all the way out here. He must have run from Jack's soldiers just like me.
At least we're still gaining experience here. We're gaining levels. Yeah, they're 3 to 4 behind us now, but the last couple of DLC chunks we didn't really help us much in terms of leveling, so this is a good change for us, if you will. But yeah, we definitely need to get oh, he's burning, that's why it's not doing that much damage. I suppose reading that probably would help, huh? Well, I guess we just gotta leave that fire gun up for the time being. I know it's not gonna take him out. That will though. That's got to be one of the last men. Come on, Puggy. Barf him up, my dude.
You protected Pukey, minion! Woohoo! He's finally going to barf up my fellow claptrap unit. I finally found another claptrap. Yeah! Ah, he's dead.
Wow.
And he exploded. Oh well. Now to slip back into the warm, comfy Christmas sweater that is my depression. Come on back whenever you're ready, minion.
Wait. Huh. Well, at least there's a machine back here. We can quickly load up on... Oh, we're not loading up on ammo, I'll tell you that much. But we can at least sell the stuff we have that's just crap.
Almost dead? I can fix that.
Let's see what we got here.
See you real soon, I'm sure.
I know we're almost out of ammo.
Know thy enemy, minion. If you're gonna take down Professor Nakayama, you'll do well to learn everything you can about him. I think the tool lost some of his audio diaries. Go find him.
What time is it? 2? Okay. Yeah, I think we'll call it here. So, with that said, hey, thanks for everyone coming out. It felt good to stream again. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. I think I did. It's fun to talk about E3, talk about some Borderlands, talk about some... I've passed